Now I'm late. You're a day late on your Clash of Champions review. I sat and I watched Clash of Champions. And after Clash of Champions, I would like to take Sami Zayn's hand and shake it. And then when he is ready to go to bed, kiss him on the forehead goodnight. Because that ladder match to open up the show and Sami Zayn's logic was absolutely beautiful. I would take Sami Zayn's hand and shake it twice. We've all had our thoughts and opinions on Roman Reigns. But honest to God, and I know some people are going to rain all over me, I think that Sunday night was one of the best nights for Roman Reigns since he's been in WWE. And I'm not counting the Shield. He looked, on Sunday night, Roman Reigns looked like an absolute beast. Clash of Champions had a lot of good things to talk about. Randy Orton needs to stay far away from the title picture after that. Clash of Champions full show, review, results. We talk about everything. You go nowhere else because I said so. Stay right here. Wow, man. Clash of Champions. Clash of Champions. Ladies and gentlemen, I am back on the YouTube channel. I know a lot of people probably have questions. Where have you been? You constantly upload videos. I've got a lot of things going on with me personally, which I will not bring to air. But obviously, life sorts itself out and things work out, yada, yada, yada. We're going to talk about Clash of Champions. We're a day late, and I know a lot of other people have probably told you about the show already, but I'm going to tell you about the show. One of the things I want to try to do in the future is try to figure out how to review this show without just reading off of the CBS script. I'm going to try to sum it up and make some key points in certain things here. We're going to talk about Clash of Champions now. To be honest with you, I look at this show, and I feel like this show, honest to God, did a lot right. I'm looking at this show, I'm looking at all the matches, some of the things I didn't like, some things I didn't care for. But it felt like a lot of what had happened had made sense. I can sit here and genuinely tell you that regardless of if you like the wrestling or not, what happened on this Clash of Champions show was eventful, and I felt like I was satisfied after watching it. The first match is a match on the kickoff show. No, I have no... Again, I don't watch the kickoff show. A lot of people don't. And there's plenty of reasons why we don't watch the kickoff show. Let's see. We got Cesaro and Nakamura taking on Lucha House Party. I'm not going over it. I can just tell you Nakamura and Cesaro did retain their championships. Yada, yada, yada. The first match, regardless of whatever happened on this show, I felt like this match was so fantastic, the way that it was done, that I can genuinely sit here and tell you that regardless of whatever had happened on this show, this was amazing. If you didn't like Sami Zayn before, and you're some of the people, or you're one of the people that like his type of style, you love him now. You love him now. It's the Intercontinental Championship. Jeff Hardy, Sami Zayn, Jeff Hardy the champion going in, Sami Zayn, AJ Styles, triple threat ladder match. Obviously, for you rookies that are watching, the championship is held above the ring, and you obviously have to climb a ladder to get it. This match was so eventful, so great. I felt like all men had a chance to shine, and I genuinely felt the way it ended was fantastic. Ladders were brought into the ring very quickly. Hardy was taking the first bump of the match. He diving onto an upside-down open ladder as Styles sidestepped. The part was Styles being the dominant offensive force early in the match. He bounced Zayn off of a ladder in the corner as well. Styles also threw Hardy from a ladder early, and both men were climbing towards the titles. But that was not enough to keep Hardy down. I genuinely feel like Jeff Hardy is one of those guys where he's at this point in his career where he is so accustomed to pain that he doesn't even feel it. I thought that about his brother a little bit, but I thought Jeff was always more daring. You know what? Not even. I just think it runs in Hardy blood where they are so accustomed to pain where they just don't even feel it anymore. Styles threw him down. Zayn hit an exploder onto Styles onto a ladder as the brutality continued. A great moment where Zayn was alone in the ring, climbing the ladder before Styles threw a ladder like a javelin from the outside of the ring to knock him to the canvas. Hardy would eventually hit Zayn with a twist of fate before climbing the ladder, seemingly ready to grab the titles before Zayn started to tip the ladder over. Hardy tried to climb down the other side of the ladder, twist of fate before climbing the ladder, seemingly ready to grab the titles before Zayn started to tip the ladder over. Hardy tried to climb down the other side of the ladder upside down, but took a nasty spill to the floor in the process. One of the more innovative bumps in the match, full of nasty spills. Hardy did the one where he falls through the ladder after a swanton. Hardy eventually drove Zayn through a ladder suspended between the announce table and ring apron with a swanton from the top rope. This is where I talk about Jeff Hardy not feeling pain. He's been doing this for so many years. And of course, the ending of the match was the absolute best part of the match. Sami Zayn pulled a pair of handcuffs out. Now this is strategic, logical thinking. He pulled them up, and he used one to tie Hardy to a ladder, meaning that obviously Jeff can't get up, pulling the other end of the handcuff through Hardy's ear piercing. So there were 3 different types of handcuff maneuvers that Sami Zayn used, which propelled him to his victory here. He tied his ear to that. Now, obviously, you're not going to yank at your ear. Hardy can't get up because his ear. Sami Zayn used his ear low because he has the Jeff Hardy has the piercings, the giant hole piercings. So Jeff Hardy is down. And then Hardy climbed into the ring, still with the ladder cuffed to his ear, and Zayn uncuffed himself from Styles before cuffing Styles to the ladder. Zayn then, now this is, you gotta listen to this. I have to run this back a little bit. Handcuffed through Hardy's ear piercing as he tried to handcuff Styles to the ropes. Styles attacked him, so Zayn handcuffed his own arm to Styles. So why would Sami Zayn handcuff his own arm? Let's explain this. Sami Zayn would handcuff his own arm to Styles because Sami Zayn is very weak. He's tired. He can't get up. He was attacked. And Styles, in order for him to grab the championship, he would have to pull the weight of Sami Zayn. And being the fatigue and how far it was late in this match, Sami Zayn's last resort was to make sure that it was as difficult as possible for AJ Styles to get up the ladder, which he could not do. Then, as Sami Zayn began to come to, he took the key, unlocked his handcuff, and then handcuffed AJ Styles to the ladder. So now Sami Zayn is free, and Styles is stuck at the bottom of the ladder. Zayn is a brilliant jerk. Sami Zayn climbs up and wins the Intercontinental Championship. The ending of this match is an A+. The match itself is an A. This is a great match. If you're one of those people that go back and watch matches, or you just want a match to watch, please watch this match. This is honestly match of the year caliber. They actually have this listed here on CBS Sports, the 24/7 Championship. R-Truth is hilarious. He's great. I love R-Truth. And without R-Truth, I mean, in all honesty, I don't care about the 24/7 Championship. I never did. But without R-Truth, I wouldn't even pay attention. I would have probably went for a bathroom break. R-Truth was walking through the backstage area, walked into the referee's lounge. As he left, Gulak was doing lunges in the background, realized his opportunity, and rolled up Truth to win the championship. Gulak was being interviewed about winning the title earlier when Truth interrupted, hit him with a large metal ball, and scored the pin. Gulak wins the 24/7 Championship. Means absolutely nothing. The title has never in a million years meant anything more than a funny segment. So we get to our second legitimate match, and it's Zelina Vega versus Asuka for the Raw Women's Championship. This was a decent match. I don't know if people think of Zelina Vega in the light of somebody who's really going to fight for a championship. She's a great mouthpiece, and she's fairly decent in the ring. But as far as Asuka goes, she's definitely not near Asuka's level in terms of in-ring ability. But this was not bad whatsoever. Vega went after Asuka's arm early before the champion briefly took over. Asuka followed Vega to the outside of the ring. Vega took advantage by pulling Asuka into the ring steps. Vega remained focused on Asuka's arm, locking up the limb or driving it into the canvas at every opportunity. Vega came down the stretch looking to score a sneaky pin after all her arm work. Asuka slipped in her Asuka lock to force a submission. After the match, Asuka called Vega a firecracker and offered some compliments. Vega responded with a kick to the gut, but a better-than-expected effort from Vega as she looked crisp in a well-laid-out match. Asuka would retain her Raw Women's Championship via submission. One of the things I want to talk about, too, is I don't know what happens now because Zelina obviously is a heel, and she's a sore loser in this extent, and she knocks out Asuka. Now, so this doesn't result in anything different. You can have this match 1,000 times over. Asuka would not lose the championship. I think Zelina Vega's great. I like her a lot. I love her work. But she's not in a position to where she should be a Raw Women's Champion. And some people are going to disagree with that. Asuka is doing great work with literally anybody she comes in contact with. And I don't really know if I would even take the title off of her at this point. Next match is a U.S. Championship match. You could say what you want about MVP. You could say what you want about everything. I think that the U.S. Championship, at this point, we need to get to the point where the U.S. Championship is starting to be developed outside of this. This Bobby Lashley versus MVP, Bobby Lashley versus Shelton Benjamin, Bobby Lashley, or not, excuse me, I lied. Apollo Cruz versus Shelton Benjamin, Apollo versus MVP, Apollo versus Lashley, and just a mix and match of the three. I get the feud. I get Apollo's trying to chase the U.S. title back. He's not going to win it back. It would make no sense at this point for him to win it back. This match was Bobby Lashley versus Apollo Cruz for the U.S. Championship. It would make zero sense for him to win this championship back. That's just how I feel, and that's where we are. We need to get to the point now where I love the Hurt Business. I think it's great. We need to get to the point where we're starting to give opportunity, U.S. Championship opportunities to others outside of Apollo Crews. But the worrisome about that is that Cruz is in this program, and if they run that route, what happens is Cruz fall back to mediocrity. Because I genuinely feel like, despite all his talent, Apollo Crews is one of those guys where if they don't have him in something like this, they have nothing for him. Cruz got off to a hot start, using speed and agility to offset the power game of Lashley. Lashley countered an up and down over the corner to take over the offense. Lashley tried to run Cruz into the ring post on the outside, but ended up being the one to go into the post instead, allowing Cruz to go on the comeback, including a hitting, impressive press slam on Lashley. After a standout shooting star from Cruz, he went up top, hit a frog splash. Lashley managed the kick out. It took one misstep for Cruz, however, and Lashley was able to secure the submission with the Hurt Lock. Unfortunately, it's hard to get excited for Lashley or Cruz or really anything involving Cruz in the Hurt business. Weeks after weeks of seeing variations of the same match. Thank you very much, CBS Sports, for tallying back on my point. Solid in-ring effort. Okay, but now what? You know what I mean? Lashley wins, retains the title. Are we just going to keep jerking around with Apollo Crews? Or are we going to end up doing something different in this situation? You know what I mean? What? Okay, but like Hurt business is great. Apollo's cool, but what is our goal here? You know what I'm saying? And I feel like they don't even know that. I would watch. I didn't even watch Raw last night, but I wouldn't be surprised if they had a rematch. Raw Tag Team Championship. The Raw Tag Team division is dying a sufferable death, where Andrade and Angel Garza are the only ones that have any type of initiative to save it, and despite that, they can't save it. They can't save it. They can't save it. The match was not good. Can we please build an actual legitimate tag team division on Raw? Because I'm getting tired of seeing the Street Profits do the same thing every week. They're great. I get it. Angel and Andrade are both great. Angel and Andrade are a good team. But in all honesty, those guys are more than capable of going separate ways and being single stars. And I think that's what needs to happen. But the reason it hasn't is because WWE has no plans for the Raw Tag Team division. Angelo Dawkins exploded with a dropkick after being briefly isolated at the start of the match. Yada, yada, yada. Dawkins took a hot tag and started to take over the match. I skipped a little bit because I just don't care. I'm sorry. A blind tag led to Garza hitting a top rope Spanish fly on Ford moments later. Ford took heaps of offense from the challengers before another hot tag to Dawkins, who hit a spine buster for every win, though it appeared clear that Andrade kicked out. It appeared Garza was hurt during the match, and the referee's signal that an injury occurred was generally ignored, leading to him having a call to end the match despite the kick out. This was an absolute terrible ending. If the injury is exactly what happened, I get it. But you can watch the ending to this match 850 times over, and it is very clear that Andrade kicks out at 2, and the referee still says 3. So when you watch that at home and you don't see the signals, and you look at that, you wonder, what the hell am I actually, what is happening? Why am I watching this? What is the purpose here? You see what I'm saying? Why am I watching this? And here we go. Generally a good match. The finishing stretch was awkward. The finishing stretch killed it for me. That's not anything to hold against anyone. The Street Profits retain. Okay, great. Now what? There was things on the show that were great, and then there was other things that it was, now what? Now what? Oh, the Raw Tag Team division is suffering a miserable death where there is no hope whatsoever. I'm sorry. Smackdown Women's Championship. Bayley came out to cut an in-ring promo after her match with Nikki Cross had been canceled. Bayley had asked to announce the winner by forfeit. Asuka came to the ring. I don't know what this was for. So this made the SmackDown Women's Championship Bayley versus Asuka in this match. I don't understand. You don't have anybody else back there in the locker room that could substitute for Nikki Cross that you have any faith in. The action went outside the ring. Asuka dropped Bayley with a German suplex. Bayley then used a steel chair to hit Asuka. The disqualification happened. This match should have never even happened. It allowed her to retain the championship. Obviously, as a heel, you hit somebody with a weapon, you lose the match, but the titles can't change. Bayley celebrated her brilliant decision. She was hit from behind with a steel chair by Sasha Banks. Bayley turned things around on Banks, who was still in a neck brace, throwing Banks into the ring and grabbing a steel chair. Banks kicked out Bayley's legs before laying her with several shots with a kendo stick. Bayley was able to roll out of the ring before Banks could hit her again with a chair, taking her title and retreating. This was a nice little segment after the Cross-Bayley match fell through. The match was nothing special, but Banks' attack was a welcome boost to the situation. Absolutely. Didn't care about the match. Nobody cares. The match meant nothing. Sasha Banks coming out made this a watchable segment. I love Sasha Banks so much. The only thing at this point, the one and only route that they can go is Sasha Banks versus Bayley in Hell in a Cell, and that's it. That's it. There's no, let's have a match. There's nothing. By the time Hell in a Cell comes, Sasha Banks will be injury-free. And you have this match inside Hell in a Cell, and you have Sasha Banks win the Women's Championship. End of story. That's it. That's it. There's no, oh, but what about this? What about that? That's it. You have Sasha Banks versus Bayley. Hell in a Cell. Next month, towards Halloween, you have the match. Washing my hands. That's it. Sasha wins the championship. Because even if that happened, what the hell would be the purpose of Bayley retaining the championship? Thank you very much. I'm not talking about that anymore because the feud is here and let's go. Co-main event, Randy Orton versus Drew McIntyre for the WWE title and ambulance match. A lot of times, these type of stipulation matches offer absolutely nothing. But this match was really good, and I really liked it. Drew McIntyre, every time I watch him defend his championship, I feel like each and every time I do, I want him to almost not lose the title. I thought that Randy Orton was going to win the title at SummerSlam. I felt confident in Randy Orton's work, and his work is still brilliant. But I think right now, I don't even think you drop the championship from Drew. Because right now, every primetime performance that Drew McIntyre has to offer, he does a fantastic job. Drew McIntyre has been on fire all 2020, and you can't help but just respect his game. McIntyre opened the match with a series of punches and kicks, taking the fight right to Orton. Orton went for an early RKO. McIntyre defended it before Orton used the middle rope to score a low blow as McIntyre tried to re-enter the ring and then hit a hanging DDT on the champion. Orton lined up a punt very early, but his ankle was grabbed by who? The Big Show. So right then and there, I figured, okay, Big Show came back after he was injured by Orton and got some revenge on Orton. He picked up Randy Orton, chokeslammed him right through the table. Big Show's interference allowed McIntyre to take over, attacked Orton, dragged him to the ambulance before lawn darting him to the side of the vehicle. Orton fought back, attacking the injured jaw of Drew McIntyre. The two brawled into the back of the ambulance before exiting and battling into the cab, before McIntyre hit a Claymore kick, knocking the ambulance door off. I don't know what it is about McIntyre's Claymore kick. It is just, I love watching it. I really do. They battled backstage before Orton was attacked by who else? Christian. The second person, I don't know if it was in that order. Christian, obviously, you remember Christian coming out months back to say what he did or what he did to Edge or things like this was wrong. Christian came back, got him some of Randy Orton. Let's see here. Fight return, the exit, or fight back. I lost my stop here. The fight returned the entrance area. McIntyre took Orton onto the hood of the ambulance. Orton was able to slam McIntyre backward onto the windshield. The glass cutting McIntyre in several spots on the back. That really hurt. I can tell watching it. After Orton knocked McIntyre from the top of the ambulance, Orton was blindsided by guess who? Guess who else was a victim? Shawn Michaels. He was standing on top of the ambulance. Sweet chin music from Shawn Michaels, allowing Michaels to push Orton off the top of the ambulance. Orton fought back and was about to close McIntyre in the ambulance. McIntyre was able to escape. Once he got outside, he had a Claymore on the outside of the ambulance, put Orton in the ambulance. He stopped, dragged Orton partway out, and said, you know what, I'm not done. Nailed the punt, threw him right in, and that was the end of the match. And then as the ambulance drove away, we saw that the Nature Boy, Ric Flair, was smiling as he was driving Orton away. That was funny. I don't know what that symbolizes, but the whole structure of the match was odd. The various types of outside interference. It made sense in a way to have Orton pay for his sins, but didn't keep McIntyre strong in the end. Not bad, but a little strange. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if we had to have every single person come out to get revenge, because I feel at this point there's no point in Orton even fighting for the world title against Drew McIntyre, because if I'm sitting here and I'm watching it, how many times does Orton have to lose? We had the roll-up at SummerSlam, okay. Orton lost to Keith Lee at Payback, okay. Then he lost again here. What else is... This was it. If Randy Orton was going to win the title, it was going to happen here. I love the feud. Thought it was great. A little bit over the top, but... Main event of the evening, Roman Reigns and Jay Uso. Now, obviously, these two are family. And Roman Reigns won the Universal Championship in a very ugly decision at SummerSlam. And we knew that there was a 100% chance, statistically, that Jay Uso was not going to win this match. I think the way that they went about this match was fantastic. I really did. Roman Reigns was defending his Universal Championship against Jay. I thought that before the match happened, the best route that they could take was having Roman Reigns beat the living hell out of Jay, and the way that it ended was exactly how it needed to. Uso and Reigns immediately locked up in a collar and elbow, Reigns pushing Uso into the corner. The two then stared each other down. Uso then started to try to use speed, misdirection, avoid the champ's offense. But Reigns quickly took back over, showing Uso into the ropes and saying, "I told you." Reigns continued to dominate, cutting off every moment of Uso's attempts. Reigns struck back. He had a Superman punch. Uso rolled out of the ring. He continued to lash out, battering Uso, everything you could think of. Uso had some momentum. Reigns began to demand Uso to call himself a chief and acknowledge me as your tribal chief. This is the point of the match where Jey Uso was literally so discombobulated, and he was so out of the reins that there was really nothing that was going to happen. Reigns hit a spear again. He then held Uso's face in front of the camera and demanded Uso tell the world that his camera that he's the tribal chief. He responded, "Not today." Reigns got frustrated. Heyman told him that he is the tribal chief, but Reigns said, "That's great, but I want to hear it from him." Reigns got mad at the referee, told the referee, "Don't address him again. I'm handling business." Reigns pulled him to the center of the ring and dropped continuing punches until Jimmy came out. Jimmy Uso came out, kept telling Roman, "Don't do it." He was debating throwing in the towel. He didn't want to. And eventually Jimmy threw the towel in. He said, "We're family. What the hell is wrong with you? You're the chief. You're the tribal chief." This is Jimmy Uso tending to Jay as Roman stands tall. This was a wonderful brawl, and it drove Roman Reigns' new heel character as a remorseless monster. Uso played his part perfectly. I think that this was absolutely fantastic. This is something to be said for Uso battering his family to the point where someone had to step in and make the same decision to end things. Absolutely. Roman Reigns retains his Universal Championship. This was absolutely fantastic. Roman Reigns Sunday night looked better than I think he's had in a very long time. If they keep going this route, Roman Reigns is going to have this Universal title for a very, very long time. Because the way he looks right now, he's looking better each week with it. And phenomenal job on this. As far as the show goes, hits and miss, some things that didn't make sense. I overall, for the most part, enjoyed it, and I will give it a thumbs up. I hope everybody continues to stay safe and continue to follow the channel.